and welcome to Hot Roster today, the Hot Culture Show. I am Gary and Thorne. That is Cam Stewart, and we are breaking down, as advertised, the culture surrounding not only sports, but obviously pop culture as well in a Hot Roster capacity. We will also get to some NBA and MLB props for tonight, which you can find up at HotRoster.com on a variety of cards currently available to you if you want to play some NBA or World Series,
yes.
Cam.
I like the mixed card, Gary.
Yeah,
Got a little NBA,
fun.
a little baseball. I love it, too. I love mixing the sports.
Yeah, it's the channel flipper card, as you're going to be doing tonight between the opening night of NBA basketball and World Series Game 1, of course. But we focus in specifically on the World Series for this week's Hot Culture card. Cam, we're breaking it down between Cleveland and Chicago. In the first prop, a very interesting one we're going to have to kind of dissect a little bit from what exactly it means. So from games 1 to 5, how many celebrities do you think will be in attendance? The over-under we've set is 9.5. So again, Cleveland gets the first 2 games. Chicago gets games 3 through 5. If it goes that far, that's something you have to factor in as well to this sort of debate. Yeah, you know what? The one problem I had here was, who are celebrity fans for the Indians? Like, the only 2 that could come to mind for me, I mean, I guess Charlie Sheen, sort of, like, I don't even know if he's a fan. He just happened to play an Indian in a movie one time. But Drew Carey, who I don't even know still registers as a technical celebrity.
I didn't even know I didn't even know same with Arsenio Hall. Yeah,
right, so like Arsenio Hall could be a tough one too. The one that's kind of interesting though is LeBron James actually showed up at the ALCS. The problem we have here is his Cavs play tonight in Cleveland. Game 2 might be on the table. That is Wednesday night. The Cavs don't have another game until Friday against the Toronto Raptors. That game is in Toronto, though, but he's likely got that night off. So maybe LeBron shows up at Game 2.
Fox is still doing the games, right?
Fox is doing. So we're not talking about the international feed, just Fox.
This is the problem with Fox, though. Half of their celebrities are cartoons. Like the Simpsons, Bob Burgers, and I don't even know what this other idiot. It was a Son of Zorn, where like humans interact with some guy who looks kind of like
some human characters in that one.
I don't even know what the hell's going on when I'm watching TV anymore. That's the problem. But I got to go over, Gary, and don't we got to go over? Because I think in the opening montage, when we're breaking down these props, I got to believe in Game 1, we're going to have a montage of all the celebrities and D-listers and maybe cartoon characters from Fox. But I believe if the number's 9.5, I think we can get 5 or 6 in Game 1, and then strictly after that, we really only need one like to get over that number.
You know what? I'm not even worried about Cleveland. I'm mostly focused in on Chicago.
You think we can get 9 with Chicago?
I think nine is easy in Chicago. Yes. There's a ton of celebrities who are Cubs fans.
Pearl Jam.
They're just kind of a team to like. Yeah, you got Pearl Jam, but even like Jeremy Piven, Jeff Garland. People forget, like, Second City is in Chicago. There's a lot of comedians who are fans of the Cubs. Andy Richter, Vince Vaughn, Bill Murray. Bill Murray, if he shows up to a game, is going to find his way on camera. The one that I'm kind of interested, though, in, Jake Johnson. People might not know that name exactly. He's a huge Cubs fan. Is also on New Girl, which is a Fox show. So you feel like that's an easy promo right there. Like, put him on camera, right?
I don't even know who that is.
That's fine, but you know, they put him on camera. It's like, oh, Jake Johnson's here. Watch Jake Johnson on Fox's New Girl.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, like, that's such an easy thing.
All the loser promos for their shows too. Those guys count as celebrities.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna go over with Cam here.
Over
on 9.5. Okay. Who will have more streakers, Cleveland or Chicago? So again,
too bad it's not Toronto, Gary.
1 through 5. Yeah, well,
we got guys chucking beers. We got guys running out. We could have hit like the over at maybe 2 or 2.5.
I would think so. This isn't even over. This is just, who would you rather have for more streakers, the city of Cleveland or the city of Chicago?
Listen, I'm going to go off the board here and go to the Cam. I'm just going to think, Gary, it's strictly a financial thing. I've been to Wrigley, and it was great going there, but I'm telling you, sounds expensive, like Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I'm telling you, beers are expensive, hot dogs, everything is expensive in Chicago. We're broke. In Cleveland, I see a lot more value. And know what we get with value? Guys pounding more drinks, having more fun, and crazier acts. So I'm going to go over I think it's going to happen actually in Cleveland due to value with alcohol purchases.
Yeah, I would say this is more than likely going to be a push. I don't feel like we're going to get a streaker at either of these games, but if I had to pick one,
how about
I'm
somebody
going to say
on the
Cleveland.
Field?
Just run on the field, because at this point, I feel like Chicago fans are pretty adverse and know better, especially with the next guy we're going to talk about interfering with gameplay at all. It is not something you do at Wrigley anymore because of Steve Bartman. Now, this is an actual line you can bet in Vegas. This one's a very, very contentious topic of conversation surrounding the World Series right now. Cam, over under half a Steve Bartman sighting during this World Series? In person. It's got to be in person.
Keep digging. That's what I was saying, Gary. At first I said, how many Bartman B-rolls are we going to see with him?
Tons.
Sitting there with that magnet box, Sony, Panasonic, 1980 style Walkman. Like when I talk about bad Walkmans, Bartman's at the top of the list too. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with under. First of all, people in Chicago, they're never going to let this guy go anywhere near the stadium, even if he wanted to. I feel bad for the man, Gary, because his life was actually ruined because of something he actually didn't do. But I'll tell you, he's even said it. I don't want anywhere near. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be near the stadium. I don't care. Even if he got offered money, it's not happening. We are not going to see Bartman. He's going to be nowhere near the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've softened a little bit the last couple of years. It seems like a lot of Cubs fans, even the Cubs organization, has reached out to this guy.
They really should.
Not even to Steve Bartman. They've had to reach out through, a representative he has. He does not interact with the public, with anybody. I mean, this guy had to move away from this city. He wants nothing to do with this. I will say, in the unlikely chance that he shows up, secretly I'm thinking he might show up in Cleveland. I think that's the play for Steve Bartman. Don't even go to Chicago. Get their game 1 or game 2, but I'm with you, Cam. Under on Steve Bartman sightings. I actually think, Cam, this is what I'm coming up with right now. How many live goat sightings will we have in Cleveland? How many people do you think are going to bring goats to the stadium in Cleveland and try to put some voodoo on the Cubs?
Can we count outside the stadium too?
No, they got to be in the stadium. I'm going to put it at a half goat. Cam.
Under goats.
Yeah, it's just too.
You can't let livestock.
There's too many restrictions at this point.
No livestock.
You could sneak something in with the goat. It just won't work. It won't work. Okay. Number of times Fox cuts to someone in a costume during Game 5. So Game 5 is the closest game we have to Halloween. It is on October 30th. So how many times will Fox cut to someone wearing a Halloween costume?
Well, think about how many people are going to be at the game, Garion. There's thousands and thousands of people. It's Halloween. We're talking about booze mixed with baseball. I got to believe, what's our number set at?
It's at 8.5.
I'd set 50.5, and I'm still going to go over. They're going
Really?
to show people in costumes all through. Some people might dress up as Bartman. Some people are going to do crazy stuff. It's Halloween, man. You're at a baseball game. Can't you see a lot of people in the stands? Maybe I'm just nuts. But anyway, I'm going over.
I feel like it really is dictated by where we are at in the series. I think if the Cubs are losing,
yes,
and it's like 3-1 Indians, the Cubs have to win Game 5 to keep this thing going. I feel like people aren't going to be too joyous and too willing to show up to the stadium wearing costumes. I think we're going to see a lot of people with their hands in their heads, praying possibly. I don't think it's going to be a joyous occasion.
I even get dressed up for Halloween, buddy. I was a Girl Guide.
I just think
all sorts of stuff.
I think
television.
This is so serious to the people of Chicago. I'm not sure if they're going to be dressing up, and it's also not even technically Halloween that night. It's only October 30th.
Yeah, you bring up.
I'm going to go under the number. I think it's a serious, stoic sort of atmosphere at Wrigley. I think they want this so badly that they're going to take this thing kind of seriously. Last one before we get out of here, Cam, the most obvious one.
Yep.
Who do you have winning the World Series?
I don't think it's going to be as easy as some people think, but I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs to break the curse, but in 6 games. I think it's actually going to be pretty tight. Gary, who do you got?
I'm going to take the Cubs in 4. I think it's going to be a sweep. I actually
really?
I thought about taking it in 5. I feel like that's probably the smart play, but it's not fun picking them in 5. I'm going to pick them to sweep this series. If you break it down from any possible perspective, Pythagorean wins, has them at 108-91. Base run wins, 107-91. The Cubs led the NL in defensive WAR. They led the NL in offensive WAR. The one thing the Indians did better than them this season was base running. Runs created by base running. The Indians were 3rd in the league. The Cubs were 5th. They're good at that too. They are better at everything than the Indians. And even Danny Salazar's back. Fantastic. Hasn't thrown a pitch since September 9th. Give me the Cubs.
Kluber's got to go
Give me the Cubs.
1-4. He's basically every start.
1-4-7.
He's got to win them all.
I don't think he wins the game. Cubs in a sweep. So that is the hot culture card for this week. Let's recap what we did last week, Cam. We come back on Hot Roster today. We're going to talk about our hot culture card for the U.S. presidential debate, the 3rd, the Hillary versus Trump card, when we come back on the show.